Hello everyone and welcome to another chess video. This is the game 2 from my 60 memorable games by Bobby Fischer, and this game was played in 1958 against Larsen, and this was a Sicilian Defense dragon variation. Larsen chose for dragon variation, and Fischer played Yugoslav Attack. Now, whoever are fan of Yogoslov Attack and preparing something against dragons, so this is a great resource. So studying this game, we will learn many things. During those days, the Yugoslav Attack was just entering into the market, and it was like the score against dragon is 9 out of 10. So you can understand that it's so strong, and it was so strong during those days, like people used to avoid the dragon variation for this particular Yugoslav Attack. However, Larsen wanted to prove himself with the dragon, and he was so stubborn to leave this one. Okay, now without further ado, let's get it started. Now game started with e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, typical Sicilian kind of setup, c takes d4, knight takes d4, knight f6, knight c3, g6. Now here in Sicilian, a typical idea is like when you play dragon and Yugoslav Attack, the idea is being like bringing the bishop at e3, lifting the queen at d2, long castle, try to keep the king safe at b1, and go for some like offering the bishop exchange, because black will try to go for fianchetting bishop at g7 and try to do castling here, and this bishop, this is a dragon bishop, and this is so strong, so white will go for, like, we'll offer him the trade for this bishop, and if bishop takes bishop, queen is so strong to go there, and then try to attack through this pawn, h4, h5, sack, g2, g4, g5. This move is so typical in Yugoslav Attack. So here, and on the other hand, the black has a move like black will play a5 and will go for some queenside attack, bringing the queen at a5, and will go for some queenside attack, and as white will do castling in the queenside, so black will go for that attack, and as the scores suggest, during those days white is faster, and 9 out of 10 game won by Yugoslav Attack against this kind of Sicilian dragon variation. And even in the magazine it was precisely told that during those days even some normal club level player, young player, used to beat the GM with this Yugoslav Attack kind of setup. Now let's get back to the game. Bishop e3. Here one idea being, like, as this bishop is dark square bishop and black's dark square bishop is so strong dragon bishop, he will go for long attack in future, so white will try to exchange this bishop for this one, and then white will stand better. But on the other hand, black will try to chop off this bishop at the earliest with the knight if can, so that in the later on this bishop is simply, there is no piece involved to attack or to offer something to this bishop. So black will try to go knight g4 and try to chop off this bishop, but here now this knight g4 is not possible, so he went bishop g7. Now why knight g4 is not possible? Now let's see, knight g4 happens, bishop comes with a check. Now you can see with this check, knight can't come to cover up, because knight takes knight, b takes c6, and then bishop takes and forking the king, and rook at least winning the exchange. And if bishop comes, then queen takes knight, the idea being bishop can't take the queen, bishop is pinned here, bishop has to take this this bishop, and two knight white has to support this bishop. So bishop g7, f3, supporting this pawn, because in future this move is going to come, and this b4, b5, and asking this knight to go back, and once knight goes back, then this no support to this pawn, and this knight will chop up. So simply supporting this pawn for future, and castling, and the idea being lifting the queen and offering this exchange. Queen d2 as per the plan, knight c6, and typical move look like a castling, but bishop didn't play for castling. Bishop c4, the idea being he's stopping this pawn push, and after that he will do the castling. Now knight takes d4, the idea to equalize the game. Bishop takes d4, bishop e6, now offering the trade, of course not accepting, retreating the bishop. Queen a5, now you can see now idea is like go for some queenside attack, and as in the typical scenario it will be seen that white will go for a long castling. White will go for a long castle. So white castled, b5, and here you can see like he can try to take this one, but he takes b3. There is no counterplay possible, and not even possible to strike in the queen side. Pawn breakthrough is not possible. 3 pawn versus 2 is very difficult. On the other hand, white will have some wonderful attack. Although if we go for the end game, whereas white has 3 pawn and doubling pawn, black has 2 pawn and he has pawn majority here, so black will have upper hand in the end game. But remember, middle game comes first, so this game will be simply mated in the middle game if simply bishop takes bishop and c takes b3 and get some strong pawn setup in the king side. Now simply going for typical kind of move. Now b4, try to dislodge the knight. Now knight can go here, knight can go here, but knight always better to go central, and it will be too passive if knight goes for e2. So Fischer played knight d5, bishop takes d5, bishop takes d5, and rook a c8. Now this is a mistake, and after the move Larsen explained that he was playing for a win. So although here was a forced draw line, he didn't choose for that, rather he went for some dubious line because he wanted to win the game. Now let's see what was the forced line. Knight takes c8 is the right move, rather going for rook a c8. So here now bishop takes g7, and knight coming with the check, bishop takes knight coming with a check, b takes c3, rook a b8, c takes b4, queen b4, queen takes b4, rook takes b4, check, bishop comes to b2, rook b8. Now idea is this bishop will fall eventually. He doesn't have the hold to this bishop. But if you see the position wise, black has six pawns. On the other hand, white has 6 pawn as well, but this is simply equal. The point being, once the king goes back, like now let's see how it can be converted to the equal game. Takes, now offering the trade. Black doesn't have any other option rather taking. If it goes here, so this rook will fall. So takes, now black can choose to take it or can go to attack this one, but this is a simply equal game, so which Larsen wanted to avoid. That's why he went for some other line. Now let's get back to the game. Bishop b3. Fischer won't give Larsen another chance to chop up the bishop with the knight. That won't be good. This bishop is so strong. This bishop will stop any kind of attack in future, like this pawn push. This pawn is protected, this point is protected, everything is protected by the bishop, and Fischer simply won't allow black to chop up this bishop for this knight. So simply bringing the b3, bishop back, rook c7, h4, and going for all the attack. Queen b5. The idea being push this pawn. Now you see in typical scenario in this dragon variation in Yugoslav Attack, like one tempo is so important here. Here simply black lifted the rook to support this pawn, because eventually he has to push this pawn. He simply can't go queen at b5 with the idea to push this pawn, because this pawn will fall for the bishop. He had to support this pawn with the rook, and then he will go for this kind of push, and which is simply loss of time. Now queen b5 with the same idea, and h5. Rook fc8, h takes g6, h takes g6, g4, and with the same idea pushing a5. Now you can see in the black needs one more move to attack this bishop, but white is faster here with g5, knight h5, and this is so typical position in dragon variation. Now can you tell what Fischer played in this position? And this is kind of dream position in this variation. Pause the game here and try to analyze and try to suggest what Fischer played. Okay, hope you got it. If not, enjoy the game. Rook takes h5, boom, and you can see now black king is completely exposed. Like once pawn takes this bishop, he has to give away this bishop, and which is simply protecting the king. He anytime is going to calm this rook, even rook at g file, h file, going for some attack with the queen. So this is just in book Fischer told that in such position combination are as natural as a baby's smile. So you can understand. G takes h5 and g6, e5. Now here like e6 would have been like e6 and g takes f7. Now of course rook can't take because bishop takes pawn with forking both the rook. So king takes f7, bishop takes g7, king takes g7, rook g1 check, king h, queen g2 with the idea of checkmate, and this threat is simply unstoppable. So black played something else. Let's see what black played. Let's get back to the game. G takes f7 and check, king f8, bishop e3, d5. Now you can see here like black could have gone for this push, but this is too slow, you know, like for this move a4, queen takes d6, rook e7 and queen d8, rook takes d8 and rook takes d8 check and rook e8, bishop c5 check, and once queen takes, rook takes e8 and mate. Wonderful combination, isn't it? So e takes d5. This happens the game as a d5 was played. Now here like bishop takes d5 would have been a blunder for white. Like white has a like great position here. This is dreamy position, and he will soon give the mate. But you just see like without taking the pawn, if bishop would have taken, then this is simply an equal game, because black has then rook takes c2 with the attack to the queen, and in future he's planning to bring his another queen. Even he can if white try to take the queen, rook takes queen, and in the next move bringing the rook. So this is a simply equal game. So of course he takes with the pawn, and then rook takes f7, d6, rook f6, and now attacking the rook and asking where it goes, queen b7, and here like queen d7 would have been made through queen d5 with the idea to give mate here, and this is simply unstoppable from black. So now let's get back to the game. Bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, d7, rook d8, and queen d6 check, and here Larsen resigned. So you can see like he had simply going one square and then bringing the rook into the game, and simply this is unstoppable. Now let's see how it would have been done. Now check. In this position he resigned, but let's see how we can give checkmate from this position. How is it a check? And this one is coming now. If it goes here, king goes at h6, maybe this one is like simply mate, this one mate. But if not, let's see, he goes here and then picking this one, and queen takes, now simply protecting the checkmate. But we have something like check if it goes here with a check. Now if queen comes to cover with a check, and only the one move, check and mate. Thanks for watching. Hope you love the game and you learn something in that process. Don't forget to like, comments, and subscribe. I will be bringing more videos from my 60 memorable games by Bobby Fischer. This was just game 2, and we will be seeing more games. We will learn more. Thanks for watching. See you. Stay tuned for more chess. Bye bye.